Okay, well, I just want to go over something that I'm seeing every single day when it comes to YouTube and all the videos that I'm being, you know, recommended to watch. Now, I like to watch the Brook and Jubal radio show, so that's why these suggestions are here. But look at look at all these other suggestions. Look, inflation just hit a breaking point. Here's what comes next. No time left. Job seekers are fed up. Data centers are making people sick. AI is the biggest lie ever told. Cars will not sell. This video will make you hate America. Look at all the corporation signs. A million people live here out in the desert. Banks needed to. I mean, what is it that you're seeing mostly here? Especially this video right here.
All that.
I said the word plague earlier, so let me justify that anymore because it really just needs to be said. Everybody saw the title. I won't beat around the bush at all. YouTube needs to be banning even more channels compared to what it's doing right now. And the fact that so many regular people and even fellow creators on the platform are getting angry about all of this is genuinely baffling to me. Here's the context. Every so often, I'm not even going to say commonly, once in a while, YouTube actually does something to genuinely make the platform better. A great example would be the copyright system, which is far from perfect, mind you, but allows fraudulent claims to be disputed by the creator, then requiring a legitimate legal action to be brought against them, or the claim gets force dropped after a certain period of time. It has flaws, yes, but the system that YouTube employs right now, in terms of copyright, is light years better than it used to be, because sometimes they legitimately do something for the genuine benefit of the ecosystem. That's what we're talking about today. An imperfect, largely imperfect, but genuine decision to make the ecosystem better, or at least try to, and yet somehow the narrative is taking shape that the YouTube platform is using AI moderation systems that have unjustly harmed millions of channels in a way that honestly sounds utterly apocalyptic if you listen to the people complaining about it. But I'm here to offer a bit of a different perspective. YouTube is currently suffering a plague, okay? It's called slop content, and it's basically an infestation of low quality garbage purely for the sake of monetization. A lot of times they focus on the shorts.
Okay, purely for the sake of monetarization. Okay, this person goes into a 20-minute rant about how people are stealing other people's content on YouTube and reposting it with a different voice in the narrative using AI to redo the voice, redo some of the graphics or whatever, and they repost a video of somebody else's content in their name. Effectively, well, taking away the revenue that the content creator would have made because they basically just copied what they did and posted their own video uh, as a com- um, as a competitor. Okay. So this person goes into a 20-minute long rant about how YouTube should be banning these people, that these people have no right to claim monetary income by stealing other people's content. He goes on and on and on about what these people are doing wrong and what YouTube should do to fix it, and he doesn't even come close to what the real problem is. The real problem is the fact that our monetary system, the medium of exchange that the United States uses, the US dollar, is printed by a private bank, and the paper that they print has nothing connected to it. Nothing. There is nothing of value connected to that piece of paper with a number on it. That piece of paper is just a piece of paper with a number on it, and it has no value. If you think about that for a second, how does a piece of paper with a number on it compare to the value of a car? How does a piece of paper with a number on it compare to the value of a house? How does a piece of paper with a number on it compare to the value of your labor, of your time that you have to live in this world? How does a piece of paper with a number on it determine what you will eat, what you will drink, when you will sleep, when you will be able to do anything? How does a piece of paper with a number on it determine all that? It's not the people that are doing scams. It's not the people that are trying to chisel off other people. It is not the people that are making the wrong decisions. It is the influence that these people have to make their decisions because of the corrupted monetary system that we are in. Because the private bank that prints these pieces of paper with numbers on it is the supplier of our medium of exchange, and they charge us our wealth. That we work for these pieces of paper with numbers on it so we can get some of them, so we can exchange them for food and things that we need to live. The people that print those pieces of paper with numbers on it are taxing us our time, taxing us our earned income, just so we can have these pieces of paper to trade with each other with. That's it. They supply us with pieces of paper with numbers on it so we can trade these pieces of paper with numbers on it with each other, so we can make trading between each other easier. But in the meantime, while we're trading with one another, they get to charge us a fee, an interest fee, for using these pieces of paper that they printed to trade with one another. It didn't cost them hardly anything to print these pieces of paper. It doesn't cost them anything to have them out there in circulation, but yet they are still charging us a tax every time we buy something. They are charging us a tax every time we do manual labor for an income. They are charging us a tax every single time we drive our vehicles on the road. They are charging us a tax every single time we do anything in this economy. They charge us for it. The problem is the private banks that supply us with our medium of exchange, that supply us with these pieces of paper with numbers on it, so we can trade with one another. That is the problem. That is the main issue of all of the problems that everybody is complaining about. Every single video that somebody complains about, oh, prices are going up. The prices of groceries are out of control. The rent has gone out of control. We're not making enough money on an income. The minimum wage isn't high enough. Every single goddamn complaint, every single issue that every single video on YouTube is complaining about is not about the person doing the scam. It is about the people who are supplying the money to our country, and they are not doing their job. They are doing what a private corporation would do to try to make as much profit as they can off of the movement of money in our country. The movement of money in our country gets to give this central bank, the Federal Reserve, pure profit just by the people in the country trading with one another. That is the problem. The problem is we are using a medium of exchange that is under pure 100% corruptness. We need to disconnect from this corruptness and provide ourselves with our own medium of exchange to trade with each other with. We need to have our own monetary system. We cannot keep subjecting ourselves to the Federal Reserve, because if we do, we're just going to keep doing the same thing we're doing now. We're going to keep complaining about what everybody else is doing because nobody has enough money. Nobody has enough money? Why? Because the Federal Reserve keeps taking it all from interest payments, from taxes, from every single thing that they charge you for. They charge you for using your credit card. They charge you for using your debit card. That goes to the Federal Reserve. They charge you a tax for something you buy. That goes to the Federal Reserve. They charge you a tax for using the public roads. That goes to the Federal Reserve. Every single little tax, every single little pinch of your money all goes to the Federal Reserve. It is not the people that are trying to scam you. It is the goddamn central bank that is manipulating our medium of exchange to the point where people have no choice but to try to chisel off each other. They have no choice but to try to figure out ways to scam other people because there's not enough money. People do not have enough money because the Federal Reserve and the government is taking it all. That's the problem. People should stop complaining about what other people are doing because that is not the main issue. The main issue is the central bank is taking all of our wealth, one little piece of paper with a number on it at a time. Every single time we buy something, every single time we go somewhere, every single time we do manual labor, every single time you clock in on that punch clock, you are working for the Federal Reserve, not for yourself. If we fixed this monetary problem that we have in our country, if we got rid of the Federal Reserve and we created our own monetary system where we get to trade with each other, our own medium of exchange without any sort of central bank interference, where the free open market was able to determine the prices of everything, no interference from any government, no interference from any central bank, none of that, then all of these problems would disappear. Every single issue of somebody scamming somebody, every single problem with people not having enough money to afford food, every single problem with people not being able to afford this, afford rent, do this, do that, all of that would disappear if we would just get rid of the central bank and reformed our monetary system. The medium of exchange that our country uses is 100% corrupt, and that is the reason behind all of the scams, behind all of the problems that everybody is doing, trying to make a living in this world, trying to earn some sort of income to stay alive. We are all struggling because the central bank is the one that is causing it. It is not the people, it is the ones that are controlling our medium of exchange. That's what our focus should be on. Not about YouTube banning channels because people are scamming each other. No, that is all a consequence of the corrupt central bank not allowing us to have our open monetary freedom of exchange, trading with one another, voluntary exchange with one another. We don't have that. We have a fixed monetary exchange with one another, and that fix is set by the central bank. And if we were to get rid of that, all of our problems would disappear. And that's it. That's all. We need to stop complaining about what each other are doing and start focusing on what the real problem is. The real problem is we have a foreign, privately owned bank that controls our medium of exchange for our country, and we need to get rid of that. We need to get rid of that central bank, and the medium of exchange needs to be in complete and total control of the people, not of a bank. Until we do that, the problems are just going to continue, and they're just going to get worse. Stop complaining about what other people are doing and start complaining about what the real problem is. We have a corrupt central bank that charges us interest just so we can have pieces of paper to trade with each other with. That's it. If we had our own medium of exchange where we weren't being charged interest to be able to trade with one another, and we could trade with one another freely with our own medium of exchange, then all of the problems that we complain about, all of the issues about affording rent, affording groceries, being able to find a place to live, being able to afford a car, being able to make payments on your bills, being able to afford anything, being able to afford groceries, being able to pay everything, all of that would disappear if we got rid of the central bank and created our own public monetary system that wasn't controlled by anybody but the public. You'd see all of our problems vanish. Hopefully my point has been heard. Stop complaining about other people and start complaining about the real issue. The central bank, the Federal Reserve, is the enemy, not other people in the country. They are just the result of what the Federal Reserve is doing. Get rid of the Federal Reserve, people will change and start treating each other better. Until then, you better get used to what we're dealing with now, because until the Federal Reserve gets put into the trash and dismissed, we're just going to keep seeing the same things happen over and over and over and get worse and worse and worse.